Well, welcome back. This is going to be video is going to be based on some of the readings, my settings, and what's going on. Thanks for hanging in there. This video is going to be on my final settings regarding using DIY lithium phosphate batteries and how I've got it set up, and it seems to be working good. All right, this inverter has shut off, and it is shut off, yet it is completely sunny outside. It has reached its max point, and I gotta check the BMS to see where they're at. As you can see right here, I've got plenty of power. It is completely sunny outside, and it is just basically float charging the batteries. The inverter has noticed the battery is fully charged without the BMS, and I think I got my settings good. So it is running the load and doing a little float charging for the battery. So I did it all on the lead acid battery with the voltage setting. I do not use the SOC, state of charge. I don't trust its ability to read that. I'd prefer to read the voltage. And it seems to be working pretty good. That it's balancing as well at this level, so it all seems to be working good. So I'm feeling a little bit better about all this stuff. I think I found the magic numbers. Now, I went through a lot of trouble to read the BMS when it's peaked out. Again, it was sunny all day today. The batteries were charged. I took everything offline, so all the solar went right to charging the battery while it wasn't drained. And so very early today, it topped out. And I've been able to watch the BMS all day finally and see what's going on. And it looks like it's working good. But here's how the day's kind of pretty much gone on. It actually got up here, topped off the batteries. State of charge, see, it's kind of got up there a little bit. I was generating about 13 here, and then boom, it recognized that the voltage was at its level, dropped down, and it's been kind of doing a little bit of a floating here. So it's working the way I wanted it to work. And as you can see down here, for my consumptions and stuff, I've had some pretty good days on solar. You can see where I generated a lot more solar than it consumed, and the battery was always pretty much in good shape. I get a pretty constant on the battery. Today's battery though, here I turned everything off so I could max it out and try it out, but it seems to be working pretty good. And those are the days I imported. This one day here was my goof up. I should have pumped it for 10 minutes just to make it to the sunrise, and that would have never happened. But work was the calling, and I didn't have much chance to do that. So anyway, yes, I found out how to block that light. I could turn it off, I guess. I am a professional videographer. Do not try this at home. Alright, so you should be able to see the screen a little better here. But I gotta admit, I love to see this kind of detail. You can go back, this was today. You can go back to days before, and you can run your mouse wherever you read. I can tell the MP charger is working good, because I got 2,000 watts, over 2,000 watts. I never had that with the MPPT that was Victron Energy. So either this is overreading itself, or the Victron Energy, or it's better than the Victron Energy. Probably a little combination of both. But I can see it's doing good, the MP. And I guess it's starting to read some stuff, but it's pretty cool to be able to go in and isolate and pinpoint every day. This was the 16th, so I'm guessing here it did the same. It reached the battery 100% and shut itself off because, well, this is 12 noon, and it was a sunny day that day too. So it's doing the same thing that I observed today with this 2 days ago. So it's been working for the last few days. That would be the 16th, which would be here, which is a pretty good solar day too. But it's really cool how you can see all these and you can really analyze what you get. There's where I goofed up. The red line is the imported power. It was at 6 in the morning. I remember right around here thinking, oh, I need to do that. And next thing I know, I'm getting calls and I'm dealing with work, not paying attention. And here it is, 10 o'clock. And I was like, ah, crap. It hit me. So that was my bad. But you can see the days. And again, you can see what it's doing. This is the only place you can see the importer user. Now, the app on the phone only shows import to grid, and I have no idea why they have that. I can't change that, but then this thing can't even do grid yet, or not live feeding grid, but for some reason on the phone app it's got it on it. I guess maybe for the 18K bigger inverter that does feed to the grid. But anyway, I wish I could set it on my phone so that I don't see that, but I could see only imported, so I can kind of tell when I'm importing. It's pretty cool. You can go back to the month before and see the whole month. That's what I did here. So and how all that plays into being my solar production. We had a really crappy week or more there, and then a few bad days here too. But kind of cool. Trying to explain how the voltage varies depending on how much watts being pulled here. If your battery's sitting at idle, it's at so much voltage, and you start pulling, say, 200 watts, and then this is 300 watts. The voltage of the battery will drop while it's below what it is, and then if you jump from 200 watts, it drops a little bit more. If you turn it off, it will bounce back up in that period. Or if you pull a high wattage, now it's dipping way down here. Now if your settings here, it'll shut it off here. Even though the minute it shuts it off, it's going to rise back up to this voltage. So when you're setting your cutoff voltage, you have to kind of take this into effect. Say you're pulling a fair amount of watts throughout the course of the days, it's going to dip below that low level because the cells are actually getting that low. But the minute you turn it off, it bounces back. So anyway, you need to keep that in mind when you're setting this. Same thing with when you're going up. If you're overcharging it, it's going to go up to the level, and you stop charging it, it's going to drop back down. And then you charge it again, it's going to jump up. And the minute you turn it off, it's going to drop back down. So you got this dippage happening throughout the course of this, but it's not reflective of the standing voltage of a battery compared to the state of charge. So you want to keep that in mind. How much are you pulling when you're setting your sets and you're giving it a try? How much are you pulling? How much are you charging? So these are my settings for now. These are the settings for a 14 kW battery system, and for me drawing about 4 to 5 kW a day. But that's the numbers I'm working with right now. To each their own. That's what is working for me. So I'm probably going to have to retweak my settings again since I've added this new set of batteries, because it affects what's going on. Here are my BMS readings when the sun is out. Sun seems to be coming in and out all day. It's a cloudy day, so right now it's cloudy, but the sun will come in and out. So it affects how this goes. So those settings are for just one of these batteries, not two. which means if I'm drawing more power or whatever, it's less, affects these batteries less. So I think I can lower my AC input cut on, because it's not going to be as much for two batteries. And I definitely need to lower my input. But see, now it's getting sunny, so this thing's jumping in and out. The inverter is a little bit louder when you're doing solar. It makes a little bit more noise than AC input. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with this inverter. Most of the problems I found were my problems. It's something I just didn't know about. For the cost and what it can do, the fact it does 240 volts. It's a pretty sweet deal. I can see this thing, as long as it lasts. That's the one thing. I don't know if it's going to break in the next year or break down or something. That is, you'll only know through the test of time. And I'm a little fearful that you usually get what you pay for. So I'm not sure how long this thing's going to last. I guess I'll find out. But I'm not putting a big load on it. So I'm taking it pretty easy. It's not like I'm pulling 5,000 watts off this thing all day long, non-stop. My consumption as of right now is about 4K a day, anywhere between 4 and 5K W's a day, which is not a lot. I want to increase that to double that, to try to get it up to almost 10K. I can do that with this batteries. I've just got to add my solar, and then I can run more stuff during the course of a day and even get my electric bill down lower. Anyway, thanks for joining in. Hope this was somewhat helpful for you. I'll give you some updates on how this is going. I'll also probably do a video showing me installing my new solar panels next, and get this thing enclosed in the top, keep the cats out, and then I'll be pretty set for a while. And for those of y'all who are interested, this is the reading off of my batteries, all my different cells. As you can see here, it looks like over a period of a year since the time I had them and got them, some of these batteries have dropped basically about 4 amp hours in the course of a year. This other set I got has dropped even further. They're down to 9-10 amp hours. If you compare this first set up here to the amount of time, over 10 years, they'll drop to about 80%, yet these batteries are dropping even worse. If you see up here, this is my first set that was 230. This column is the amp hours of discharge. This is the column of the amp hours of discharge as well here. That's really what you want to pay attention to. That compared to this over here. But they've dropped pretty good. And here are the cells, amp hours for these cells. These are my cell numbers over here. And you see my last 3 cells, they tested 300. My best cells yet. Pretty crazy. The variation of all these batteries. And I bought each of these sets of 8 at different times. Thought you'd be interested in that. It was interesting watching the reading, how much they go. It does look like they're still going to last at least 10, 20 years probably. Probably my lifetime anyway. I doubt I'll be buying more of these. I'm hoping I won't be buying any more of these. So, thought you'd like to see that. All in all, I'm pretty happy with this inverter. It's doing what it said it would. I just hope it lasts. Thanks for all the new subscribers who've joined in. I appreciate y'all subscribing, hanging in there, and putting up with my jabberwocky. Have a wonderful rest of your upcoming week, and take care of yourselves.